So a few things. Got a poem for today. Guess I'll start that. The intent of this, I don't know if intent is the right word. As an exercise, after, well, not after, but from the reading of top book. There you go, right here. That whole book. So from reading this book right here, which is Wordsworth Poems, his poems he's able to really celebrate his childhood. I don't know. But from his poems, I am trying to access somewhat my own, I don't know if it's power, I guess it maybe is. I want to be able to project my childhood, elements of my childhood. I don't know how yet, or what exactly the goal is. So this is an exercise towards just doing something along that lines, which gave birth to something else too. So starting off, seen myself. What's the connection between me and my reflections and the me of my memories? There was a me that leapt from rock to rock as I danced with the river, spirit, along its banks, as well as a child, prison to prison. As I lived the life America had given. There's a me that couldn't leave mommy's side because I couldn't face the shock. There's a little old me who will give his all just to hear some sincere thanks. That me encased within this man, within this nation and this species, got lost in the mirror and time and space, was buried alive beneath this face. The further we get, I need her as much as she needs me. But she's been so battered by the world as it is that she barely has even the strength to live. I didn't even know she was a she. I'd been battered so myself. I couldn't turn to the FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, for help. They just trash it on the rape kit shelf. I couldn't plead to the state Socrates made, for she is whom the Republic doth hate, and sees to hurt, revile, and impregnate. She is the capital to make me a citizen, to convince me it's normal, even righteous to given. To just believe, since she and I are torn asunder, to keep us from our beautiful wonder, amazement, and thought. To drown us in this sea of forgot, to recreate all the evil in existence God ever wrought. We never live till we see and feel she is all we've ever got. So, some interesting elements. I don't know how to word this yet. I have assumed the role of a teacher. Beyond this mini spectrum. So, out of all the shit that I've said about telemarketing, especially the company I work for, right now, at a Jew's pay, don't get me wrong. I'm not interested in negotiating or making these fools feel like they came up or some shit like that. Let them live their flat, dead lives. I know it's as easy as, for me, it's as easy as this. I understand that within the Jewish context of their religion, they do see America as the extension of Rome, and deep inside they do have a sincere, legitimate desire for revenge. But the way, again, in one sense, they don't have an opportunity to say no. This is what the essence of rape is within the religion. They don't realize they're raping their own kids. That's why they do it. That's very, chew on that however you want, in whatever context is appropriate for your current condition or the conditions that you know about around you. But their connotation is to associate it with the Exodus story, because this is the template story that Rome designed for the branch of the Semitic people that they turned into Jews, so as to have a kind of a Red Rover type, in baseball, like a Red Rover type caricature. That is somehow, they're aware, is a fundamental part of some kind of social order. I think on one level it gives the empire the opportunity to be perceived as ambivalent or even benevolent, because it appears like the current generations of Jews, I cannot believe that with all the Mossad, with all the assassinations, with all the espionage, with all the murders, with all the weapons contracts, illegal weapons contracts that Israel survives off of, prospers off of, with terrorist organizations around the world, that one single actual Israeli elite politician does not know the role that the American system played within the foundation of the Nazi Party in Germany. But as such, there has to be, again, I read out of Exodus, don't uncover the shame, the nakedness of this person or the nakedness of that person. If you got a plot, and the same verse says, when you're in the land of Egypt, don't do what the land of Egypt does. When you go to the other land, don't do what the other land does. That means break their laws, do not follow their principles, do not embrace their people as your people, but lie to them, deceive them. Tell them you do what they need be done so as to maintain the order of their citizenship, but never conform or do what they do, says the Lord God in the Bible. And never reveal the nakedness of your father's wife, your father's daughter, your father's son, and it goes down the list of all the people. Because like the connotation in the Exodus story of God hardened Pharaoh's heart so as to blah 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 blah. The current generations that are coming being produced in out of the Jewish phenomena are associating America with the Pharaoh of Egypt and imprisonment, because they do know the role that America played in the rise of the Nazi Party. And as such, what must be noted, and what will be the Antichrist and their end, according to the plot and plans and so gone progression of the empire. Now, on another important note, the kicker is in this current situation with the introduction of nuclear weapons, the next Moses is from the current Jewish perspective based on the interpretation provided from the experience created within the experience of the fascio-Romano or Romano-fascist system, which is still centers around the trinity of the crown, the Holy See, and Switzerland. So, between these three agents of what's considered anti-Semitism, as in that each of these three agents kill Arabs for ritual fucking promotions within their own weird religious rites and what are called secret societies, which are just religious functions. The only reason they're called secret societies and not a religion is because the people in a religion need to feel what they have is special, or else they feel like they're fucking idiots for getting nothing in return from theirs. See, if the secret society is a religion and they have all the power, then the other religions, what are they left with? What does their religion prove? Nothing. So you gotta have the secret societies where you'll get the power in Romans 10, and make sure you bow down to the governing authority that it is, because the Masonic powers that put the governing authority in power are also the Masonic powers that wrote this book called the Bible. Therefore, we instruct you to follow whoever we have in control, because we know we got a system so well stacked that as long as this Bible is functioning within the brains of the peons and the plebeians and the scum and the bottom of the barrel of human species, that as such, there will be secret societies. Because again, the entirety of the Bible is for the sustaining of secret societies. And the way that they do it is they give the secret out freely and invite people to partake of it, and twist the meaning so as to deceive, and that is what makes their secret so special. It's their special recipe that's finger licking good. So, a couple things that I want to do, because I do want to totally, utterly destroy them. What I've decided what I need to do is a couple things. One, from this poem, because of a line that I used where I said I couldn't turn to, I was going to say a cop for help. They just trash it on the rape kit shelf. I ended up putting that to FOP, Fraternal Order of Police. And I'm glad I did, because next what I get to do is I get to write a poem about the Fraternal Order of Police. And I'm going to find out the history of the Fraternal Order of the Police, which I haven't done yet. I already know their symbol with the handshake, the Masonic handshake, 5-point star, pentagram, five pillars like the Pentagon. It's a military branch of the empire against the humanity as a whole. There's no such thing as countries. Countries are just concentration camps in the order of the Holy See, the Crown, and the banking institutions, which are Switzerland. So, I'm going to find out the origin of the Fraternal Order of Police, what country they were started in. I'm going to guess that they probably began in England, just like the oldest branch of the military right now, which is a branch of the National Guard that goes all the way back to some kind of Bostonian militia that fought directly for and under the command of the British King. And they proudly hail themselves to be the same lineage today as they were then, instead of being the proud heritage of what a motherfuckers that turned against the king. That, you know, they don't pitch it like that. They do not say we devoted ourselves to the death of the king and since the founding because we were around at the beginning and our commitment is the freedom of America, and that freedom of America is the elimination of the royal monarchy. All of them in Europe, because they are one, because we are from Europe, and we know that the royals intermarry, and so that as a whole the royal family is one single entity, this regardless of the country. They are one genetic code, literally inbred. Therefore, as American soldiers fighting for freedom and liberty, liberty again being a tax status in relation to the king. They're fighting for liberty. They're fighting for a tax status in relation to their king. They're not fighting to kill the king, to eliminate authoritarian rule. They are fighting to establish an authoritarian rule that echoes or shadows that of their proud king. And again, they're the oldest branch in the military still to this day. So I'm going to look up FOP, probably find out that FOP started in England. Just like you can find in National Treasure Part 2. So, just like in National Treasure Part 2, where they do the very interesting scene. National Treasure also has a very great part in which they do one of the most subversive great seal, which is a Masonic devil worshipping seal, to put it in the terminology of these bitch motherfucking coward Christians who sit on their guns pointing them at poor defenseless blacks and fucking illiterate fucking, well, actually most Islamic people aren't illiterate because they read the Quran, but yeah, for the most part in Afghanistan maybe it's another story because of the fucking short-term history post 1970s. Alright, so for the most part, and Yemen, because of the role that the US-backed Saudi Arabian government plays in actually controlling Yemen as a satellite country, much like China controls North Korea and America does to Mexico, and creates a fucking horrible condition so as to act as a buffer against foreign threats. So you got to invade other countries before you invade their country, which expands the war, so to speak. Thus you get like NATO, which is an extension of the Atlantic trade, triangular trade, transatlantic triangular whatever slave trade. That's what NATO is, an extension of that, just like America is an extension of the East India Company. And this is the interesting thing, not only did America adopt the flag of the East India Company, but when you take into account the role of the DEA and the CIA in funneling and war, the U.S. military in the funneling of heroin and illicit drugs from South America into America, from Asia into America, and so forth. When you take into consideration that it is the actual branches of the American government said so under the George Bush family, for instance, with the cocaine that has taken over the role of the East India Trading Company, or the East India Company, doing the same thing as the oldest, longest lasting military branch in the U.S., which is doing the same thing it was doing then, and that's protecting the royal crown from American intervention. They have no other function. And that is why they're the longest lasting legacy, and they hold to their legacy. Not their legacy is important to note. They do not make a distinction between their service to the king and their service to America, because there is no difference. Just like with the Bar Association, the oath supersedes every notion of what is sovereign nation, independence, and citizenship, and gives you directly aligned to the royal monarch's fascism in connection with the crown, the Holy See, and the banking institution of Switzerland. So, from my self-professed interpretation or decoding of Dante's Inferno, so as to read it to be a manual or an instructional guide on how one need gain rank in various elements of these secret religions, these religions that are secret societies, so as to not confuse the people that are members of the bullshit branch of these secret societies. That's the difference. The people in the secret society, when they say secret society, they mean religion. When they say a religion, they mean a crock of shit that a worthless, beast-like, pathetic living being accepts as the truth, when they should inherently know that there's nothing true about it. But again, the initiate doesn't know until they're told. But they're told in a way that makes them convinced that they already knew, which everybody does already. But the way to kill these religions is, the reaction that I'm going to do is going to be part of what I write now, and maybe what I've already written. I think it is. If you decode what I've written, and I've written way more than a book's worth. Most of it's lost in paper, but luckily for me, the NSA has taken it upon themselves to digitize everything that I say and everything that I write. That's why I try to use this as often as possible for organizational efforts. So, like outside of prison, you only hear me say I want to write a poem about FOP. Inside of prison, you'll actually see me beyond this moment doing the research, looking at the history, finding the information. You'll actually, because of the camera that I'm using right now, when I'm looking on my phone for this information, you'll actually see my facial expression as I'm actually finding the information, and you hear me self-commentating to myself like, oh shit, I was right, oh fuck, I was wrong, oh shit, I was so close. Like with my estimation that it's going to be founded in London, like the Bar Association. What does that mean? That does mean the same thing, that the police in this country are fucking treasonous goddamn traitors, and as such, just like they kill because they deserve to be killed. You understand? That's the way it goes. They understand that if you realize that they deserve to die, you will kill them and have every right to kill them. Therefore, they kill indiscriminately or discriminately, whichever one you want to call it, in order to maintain a psychological state within a borders of a nation, the identity of a people, that don't fuck with the cops. It is never that the cops are good or doing what's right, unless you're a sick, fucking racist, fascist, fucking pig who lives off of what the cops do in order to maintain everything that you've robbed And so you can keep your kids safe from knowing the truth that you're a fucking thief. A worthless, scum-sucking, white piece of shit fucking thief that won't go fucking home because you're too much of a coward to go tell your fucking poppy fucking crown to you fucking, that's your home. This ain't your motherfucking home because you've been here for a long time, you scum-sucking, white piece of shit fucking frauds. So, I'm gonna write, or you can discover within my writings, my own initiation phase. Now the catch is I gotta do it. So I gotta introduce a few things. I gotta do a counting coup based off the Indian. This is gonna be something along the lines of picking a poem, something that's directed at the psychology of police, the social order of police, the political order of police, the religion of police. Again, you can speak directly to the police as Freemasons. You don't have to fucking wait for them to show you their membership card. Don't wait for the evidence. They're fucking coward, fucking sellout, lying pieces of shit, murdering, fascist, racist, pig fucking bastards that deserve to die. Don't give them the second chance to pretend like they deserve anything other than that. Talk to them that way. That's my point. Now, whether what I say ends up getting twisted on down the future and it turns into some kind of murderous plot, fuck it, don't be a cop. Don't be a judge. Don't be a politician. Don't be in the military. Don't fight against weed. Don't hit your kids. Don't hit any kids. Don't let people hit kids. And I mean, I don't know, other than that, you're pretty fucking good. I mean, they're givens. They're complete opposite of what police. Do not harm anybody. Do not kill anybody. Do not sexually harass anybody in any way, shape, or form. I don't know. Check. Does that make me a bad person because I've done those things or I haven't done those things and most police have? I just don't know. But one of the things that I want to write, I want to convey in my writings is a type of initiation process. So now that I found what I feel is Dante Inferno's a very critical element in the initiation process, revealing parts of the initiation process, I am going to make one that's similar, except where these ones say rape and kill a woman, I'm going to say you need to butt fuck and fucking cut off the nose of a judge, of a sitting judge. Colonels, because a colonel is really, really hard. If you want to move up in rank, and this is going to be reserved, very, very difficult shit to do. If you want to move up in rank, you will have to slit a military colonel's throat from chin to chin. Obviously, they have to die. You will have to poison 2 cops. Or no, you have to poison a cop. Because you want to do it in ranks, so you want to leave it to people that are doing caterings and in this secret society so that they can poison as many cops as possible for the sake that they get rank. And the slitting the throat, Lieutenant Colonel. Yeah, no, you slit the Lieutenant Colonel's throat. But fuck the judge. Okay, that works good. And then cut off their nose. Don't kill them. Oh, you gotta do something. Oh, see, they target kids. I guess you kind of target kids too if these people have kids. Then what else do you have to do? You have to, and you don't have to use your body to butt fuck the judge. You can use anything. This is a flute. You can use a pipe. I actually suggested that you use an object that's not round, but it's brutal. Because you want the person to live torn up. You want to break their fucking pelvic bone. You want to maybe hit it in there, jam it around. You want to make sure that the judge can never sit on their seat. You get it? And you're going to cut off their nose to spite their face. You get it? You get it? We've got to have something that does with Congress people, like There's got to be like a group things too. So like, if you lynch a congressperson, if you feed a senator to piranhas, if you kidnap a CIA agent and take off their arms and legs, keep them alive for a month, and then turn them back over to whoever it is that they belong to. So these are going to be the type of initiations that I have. There will be parts in which they try to sever you from your identity with your mother and your father. There will be parts that have to do with developing an identity in this process. As you go through the process to cope with the traumas that you've had to experience in the act of doing these things. And there's going to be one, I got to have one, maybe this will be what I do. Maybe what I'm going to do in my life is I'll have the opportunity to put some radioactive dirt in my mouth when I'm meeting with some kind of state leaders, national leaders, or maybe just bathe in it in my clothes, so that I can try to contaminate at least 5 world leaders so that they will die. All American or European, obviously. They don't have to be the heads of state, but top generals or even generals or top politicians, whatever. But I need to make it a goal that in my life I can establish a demeanor and a character that forces political people to come within my sphere, and I need to contaminate 5 of those motherfucking pieces of shit with radioactive poison that will ultimately lead to their utter fucking disgusting demise. And I need to do it quick, because if I contaminate them with that level of radiation, I'll have to be dying within a short period of time too. So I gotta be able to get all of them in one swell swoop. And that'll set the standard moving forward on what else to do and so forth. Using basically depleted uranium is the kick of the trade. So troops that have access to depleted uranium bullets have a better probability, if they join this so unsecret society, non-religious organization that is called humanity, and so seek to stop these fucking deranged pieces of shit from killing the human child as it stands and the earth. Feel free to do it. Start small. Take your lieutenant colonel first. Take your colonel first. Get the lieutenant or the colonel. I forgot which one I said. Get that motherfucker, and then expand. You know, you have access to cops and shit like that. Just get out or stay in and do it there. If they're raping 26,000 troops within the military, there's got to be at least one troop willing to fucking start smoking the fucking leadership. I'll call you a serial killer. Be a serial killer of high-ranking commissioned officers. What's stopping you, bitch? They're fucking raping the shit out of your colleagues. No man left behind, except for the motherfucker we just fucked. We knocked them out and fucked them. 26,000, 80% are men. Are you sending your kids, your sons, and your daughters to the military or to a prison institution? How many rapes happen in prison throughout the United States when there's 2 million people? More or less than 26,000 reported cases. Because that's just reported again. My time's up. So, fuck the fob. I'm going to get a nice thing to write about them. Again, let's bear in mind that they're trying to manipulate the United States political arena, in which they're supposed to be agents to support by getting attorney generals from Utah as well as Baltimore fired merely for being willing to investigate activities of police officers that led to violent or deadly outcomes relating to civilian American citizens. So, the FOP wants to prevent all American citizens who are killed by police FOP members from being investigated as any kind of crime whatsoever. You understand what I'm trying to say? Kill the FOP. Burn them. They need to be lynched like the black people that their daddies lynched. It is karma. It is justice. It is right. It is vengeance.